Yeah.
Yay, it works.
Hear me good? Because I'm not using my microphone, I'm using the computer microphone.
Yeah, it sounds okay. Not as loud, but
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
So it's raining and
Yeah.
it was really bad there for a second, but then I realized because Josh put our modem in our basement, so I realized he put in like a extender modem in the boys' room, which is closer to me, so I had to switch to that modem and I didn't even realize it.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense.
I'm here and it's
You're
happening.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just like 45 minutes late.
Listen, I wanted to eat steak. I haven't had a good steak in a while. So priorities,
How do you like your steak?
medium rare.
Same.
Yeah. I mean, to all those vegans, sucks to be you. Just kidding.
Right.
Just kidding.
I don't have steak very often. I'd say I have it like maybe a couple times a year. And that's it.
I think we have it every 3 or 4 months. Yeah. So it's like a treat. It's like we do that for our anniversary a lot of the time. We do it for big dinners or like I don't know, like Josh just couldn't find a rotisserie chicken at the grocery store, so he bought a couple steaks instead.
Hey,
so I was like,
that works.
It's fine.
But some people though, like some people eat steak like for every meal.
I don't know how they can afford it.
I don't know.
Unless you like get there's cheaper ones, but the good ones are more expensive.
Yeah, but it's like, why eat anything else?
I know.
when
why be an idiot and eat the freaking New York strip? Those are the worst.
No, those are the best.
No, they're not. The juices
they are the cheapest.
The ones are the ribeyes.
The ribeye is really good too.
They're just the juiciest every time.
You get yours from Costco?
This time it was from Smith's.
Oh.
So.
We don't have a Smith's out here, so
Sucks.
Yeah, our meat selection is really bad. I'll say that. Like a lot of people out here usually just buy their meat from like local butchers, like from the farms. What?
We're buying half a cow.
Oh, you are?
And filling the freezer because it's gonna last us forever. So
yeah, it's kind of the way to go.
It's just because the price of meat fluctuates so much. Yeah. And it's more organic. If we buy it that way, it's not,
better quality.
Way better quality. And where it's coming from. Yeah, it's not like super processed and all that stuff.
How much was it for half of a cow?
It's a lot. But we're splitting it with a couple people. I think Adam, Josh's friend, is getting some, and then like our parents, and I think Heather and Steve talked about getting some. So nice. We're kind of divvying it out, but it's like $2,400 for half a cow. But you get like ribs, you get steaks, you get like hamburger, you get, all kinds of stuff. Can you hear the thunder? Okay. As long as it's not like interrupting, we're good.
No. Let it interrupt. We got a good review for the thunder.
I know. The best part of our freaking shows are natural. Yeah.
Natural disasters.
Reactions.
You want to see my drinks for tonight?
Like God's reacting to our story. What is that?
It's it says instinct to hunt.
What's in it?
Diet Coke.
Nice.
I wanted to stay cold, and I didn't want it just to be sitting out here. But it's cooling off quite a bit, so I'm just gonna have them out.
I'm drinking this.
Oh, nice. Do you like that brand?
Not. It's cheap. So no,
Flip-flop wine.
it's okay. I prefer the tropical, what is it called? Tropical Islands or something, Moscato. I can't remember what it's called.
Do you like the cupcake Moscato?
I do like the cupcake, but not, I mean, it's all just kind of meh. I don't know. I like to mix it with Sprite and like a lemonade or something, but it's all right. I found a red wine that I really like, but I don't
Really?
remember the name of it. Yeah.
Red wine is too dry for me.
It was sweet and
Bitter.
it was on like the less, it was more wet than dry.
More what?
It wasn't too bad, but
Nice.
anyway.
And where did you find this wine?
My friend Nikki told me about it because she knows I don't like dry wines,
Yeah.
but so I don't usually go for red wines. And so she suggested it and it's really good. Like
I can't remember the name of it.
it's in my kitchen. I just don't
Okay.
remember that. I took a picture of it and then I walked it into the liquor store and I was like, okay, just help me find this. I don't know what it is. So
I feel like that's how you have to find the good wines, is by recommendation. Because I walked in a few weeks ago and just got like some sparkling wine that I thought, oh, this looks good. And I tasted it and it was the worst thing I've ever had in my entire life.
It's like it looks pretty, so it must be
Yeah.
good. And no.
Right. No. It was disgusting.
So I'll bring some next time I see you.
Okay.
And you can try it.
Yeah.
It comes in a smaller bottle, not like the small bottles, but it's like not as tall as this. And I don't know. I'll send you a picture of it because I can't remember what it's called.
Well, you'll have to put a picture on Instagram for the people listening too.
Okay. Yeah. If you guys care.
We care. If they're listening, they care a little bit.
They have to a little, right? So welcome to episode 24.
Welcome to episode 24.
Does it feel like we should be farther in by now though? Don't you think? It feels like it should be like in the 40s to me.
I mean, yes and no, but also the other day I was looking at it and I'm like, we have 23 episodes.
I know, it's a lot.
Like that's a lot of stories.
That's like a whole season of something.
That's like a whole season of New Girl.
It is. It usually is 23 episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
So like while we're almost to our year anniversary, like it does feel like we should have more episodes, but also like we have a lot.
Yeah, we do.
So.
And some of the stories I forget I've done, and then I go back and look at our list and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. But like,
yeah, like how I did the Saltaire, I'm like, oh yeah, I did that story. Like that's why I know more about it now.
Yeah. Guess who's coming to the Saltaire, by the way?
Who?
Paramore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When?
I don't know. I don't remember.
We'll have to go. Get backstage passes.
Yeah. So my story, I did last second. I've been sick with COVID. So
yeah. I was gonna say, I heard your cough. It sounds like you're wheezing.
Like my cough isn't that bad, but what's annoying is the congestion. The congestion makes me feel like I can't breathe and it makes me panic. Yeah. Like if I'm sitting there and I can't breathe, I have to walk around because I just can't do it. So I'm okay, like all is well, but now Axel and Levi aren't feeling great. So that kind of sucks, but what can you do?
Have you had a fever?
No. The kids have, but Josh hasn't. I haven't. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, I hate. And it's funny because it just feels like a regular cold, except the migraine was a nightmare. I've never had a migraine that bad and it lasted 2 days.
Wow.
And it was just the worst. And so yeah, it was just really bad. But other than that, it feels like a regular cold.
You know what's crazy is I remember back in, it was like, I think it was July of 2020, back when COVID was still trying to be like understood, you know?
Yeah.
And they had me out of work for almost a week and a half because they're waiting for a PCR test.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had all the symptoms, but the migraine was the worst symptom I had.
Yeah.
And I remember like being like I saw like flashes of lights like on the bottom of my vision.
Oh,
It
wow.
was like strobe lights. And I'm like, I feel like my vision is just all out of whack. But the PCR test came back negative.
Huh.
So what's weird to me is that like I've been sick in the last 2 years, but I've never tested positive for COVID.
This is my first time testing positive for COVID. And I feel, well, I kind of gave it to myself, to be honest, because Josh had COVID and I was like being annoying and pestering him. He felt fine, but I was pestering him because I was like, give me COVID so I don't have to get tested before my cruise.
Oh yeah.
And I just like, I'm always home, so it's not like I would have infected anybody. Like 5 days at home is not a big deal to me.
Right.
Anyway, so I got it, and Josh is like, I don't even feel bad for you. And I had my migraine, and I was like, this is the worst. But
like what I meant is COVID on paper, not COVID actually in my body.
Right. It was just, yeah, it was dumb. I'm not the smartest. I kind of didn't expect to get it because I haven't gotten it this far. And I didn't have my immunization last time Josh got it and I didn't get it. So I was like, oh, I must be immune to this. Like there's no way. But no, I got it really quick after I bugged him.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
So you're doing okay, huh?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's
good.
I could do without the congestion, but other than that.
Isn't it crazy how like our attitude towards COVID has completely changed though?
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, it was like, oh my gosh, like I hope you don't die.
I know, right?
But now it's like, oh yeah.
You got a cold, big whoop, get over it.
In a week or two.
Just stay away from me.
Yeah, exactly, you know.
Yeah, I remember being so scared. And like there was reason to be scared, you know, people were dying. Yeah.
There's a lot of uncertainty with it.
Yeah, the unknown and like the hype and not understanding like what it is. And then anyway, it turned political when I feel like it could have just been like if we would have treated it like it was a flu, like a highly contagious, serious flu.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have gone over okay, but it turns so political that like now if anyone brings up COVID or masks or whatever, everyone's like, I have something to say.
Yeah, or everybody rolls their eyes like, oh great.
Yeah,
like this conversation again.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just feel like it could have been more medically focused instead of so political.
Yeah.
But I feel like everything these days is so political and so controversial, no matter what it is. It just gets turned into let's fight about it.
Yeah. And it's like, can we just take things seriously for like 2 seconds?
Right. It's just
not like have to have opinions about it. Just look at it for what it is and we'll move on.
Seriously though. Anyway,
welcome to episode 24.
Yeah, we've survived. It's all good.
Yep. April's still kicking.
Yeah, so far. We'll see if I get hit by lightning though.
It'll be God's will.
It'd be something you can post on Instagram and be like, hey, look how funny this was.
Yeah, we almost made it to 25 episodes. But again, technical difficulties.
Yeah, right. Like there's a never-ending supply of technical difficulties.
Every single episode.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's something that goes wrong every time, but that's because we're amateurs and we don't care to get better at it.
Well, we will care when we have money to care. Yeah. Right now, it's just kind of like you get what you get. You don't throw a fit.
The episode might suck, but it also might be amazing.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned for when that happens.
Yep.
Okay.
So your story is kind of short, you were saying, huh?
It might be. We'll
Okay.
see where it goes.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of my sources are from YouTube. So News Nation Prime, Crime Stories with Nancy Grace, Duty Run, East Idaho News, all from YouTube. And then let's see, Tyler Feller from YouTube. And then KSL TV and missinginamericanetwork.com, heavy.com, and Facebook groups, which I'll tell you about the Facebook group in a second.
Okay.
But this is the story of Dylan Round's missing person. Have you heard of him?
Dylan Rounds.
Yeah.
No.
I wish I looked into this earlier because I've seen it, but I haven't read into it. And I wish I would have, because this story, I don't know. It gives me like Susan Powell vibes.
Oh, really?
I mean, not as there's not so many involved in this story, you know, but just the sheer fact of disappearance of like no trace.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And like somebody did it and they're still just walking around with that secret.
there's somebody who knows something and it's freaking insane. Okay. So Dylan Rounds is 19 years old. He dreamed of owning his own farm and growing his own crops. Dylan saved up doing farm work on his father's farm in northern Idaho so he could own his own farm one day. Once he saved up enough, Dylan partnered with his grandpa and bought a patch of land in Lucin, Utah. Lucin is in West Utah, north of Wendover.
Okay. Like up in that top corner
Yeah.
of Utah.
Yeah.
Top left corner.
It's kind of all desert and like not much
like
there.
no one goes there.
Yeah, it feels like it doesn't really exist to me in my mind. But I've never been there, so you know. So it's kind of close to the Utah-Nevada border.
Right.
But north of Wendover. Okay. So, Dylan was really excited for the potential of his own patch of land and had the crops that he wanted to grow there. He put so many hours and heart into this land that there's no way he'd take his eye off that land for a second. But then on Monday, May 30th, 2022, so just a month and a half ago, on Memorial Day, Candace Cooley, Dylan's mom, got a call from her son's friend, JD, and he said, well, just asked, have you seen Dylan? Have you heard from Dylan? And she said,
I know who this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what the last name was, but now I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
This is a very recent story.
Very
Holy
recent.
crap. Because you said May of this year.
Yeah. So just, a month and a half-ish.
Wow. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So JD asked his mom if he'd heard or if she had heard from Dylan. And she said no. And she knew it was unlike him to go more than a couple of days without talking to his mom, his dad, or his grandparents. Candace instantly knew that something wasn't right. Let's see. Dylan had been working super hard to get his crops planted and ready for the coming rain because he knew there was going to be a storm. So he was working like nights trying to get his seed planted. Yeah. She knew that he would have called with an update on how that was going, but he never did. The last person to speak to Dylan was his grandma when she called Dylan early Saturday morning, May 28th at 6:51 a.m. He had already been working and it was just a quick, short conversation. And he told his grandma, hey, I gotta go. I'm trying to get the seed planted, or no, he's trying to put his seed truck away before the rain ruined it. He had it under a tarp, but it wasn't a great tarp, so he wanted to put it in the shed before the rain came.
Got it.
So he said that he'd call her back and he never did.
Okay.
So with worry growing, his family drove from Idaho to Lucin, Utah. They assumed that he had been hurt while planting his seeds, and that they'd show up and he'd be like bit by a rattlesnake, or he'd be
Right.
a broken leg
Like
or
he,
something.
yeah, like he like fell under his tractor or something.
Yeah, so he like they were like he probably is just stuck somewhere and just can't reach his phone, whatever.
Which is also a scary possibility.
Right, exactly. But once they reached his farm, they got to his camper and found that it had been abandoned. The truck hadn't moved in days, and okay, so the land was all kind of dirt fields, right? Because he just planted, you know.
Right.
So there would have been, with the rain that had fell over the weekend, there would have been tracks from the truck, footprints in around his trailer, camper trailer, as well as his truck.
Right.
No tracks at all, not even from the truck. But the truck looked like it had been pressure washed. Not only the truck, but also the tires and the rims and everything, because they could see the streaks from the pressure washer. And the dirt around the truck had also been pressure washed to hide any tracks.
That is really strange.
Right. Once they got the truck open, so okay, on the way when Dylan's mom and dad, which I believe are split up as far as I understand. So they're not married anymore, but they were together on their way to from Idaho to Utah to his farm. And which I have to say, being 19 years old and running your own farm completely by yourself is absolutely amazing. Like,
yeah,
he's one dedicated dude. But
and he, like, where did he get the money to buy his own farm?
oh, he had been working on farms since he turned 16.
Oh.
And so he saved up, and then his grandpa partnered with him to
Yeah,
buy the land. Yeah.
so okay.
Um,
Wow, that's awesome.
I know, isn't that crazy? So, and he worked day in and day out since he was 16 years old, and he was trusted in other people's farms to help them with their equipment, like that he would drive trucks for them. And that's not normal, as far as I understand, is that it's not normal for other farmers to trust kids to help on their farm in that capacity. But he had done so well that everyone in Idaho in those farms, because he worked on his dad's farm, he worked on neighbors' farms, and they were all like, he's born to do this. Like, he works so hard, like he doesn't stop. He's like perfect, and he's always on time. He's never like lazy. And so they're like, he's born to be in this life, right? So that's how he got the money to get this land. But anyway, so on their way from Idaho to Utah, they had called and filed a missing persons report because the friend JD had said, he's not anywhere. I can't reach him. He's never like not called me back. Like, there's something going. And so on their way from Idaho, they file a missing persons report. The police are there once they get there at the farm in Lucin. And that's when they find that the weird pressure wash truck, the trailer hadn't been opened, and the search starts. So while police and fire and rescue in the area are searching the land, like I think it was like a 3.5 to 4 mile radius around the camper is where they searched. And while that was happening, the parents are like asking the police, hey, should we, like, we can't find his keys, should we break into his truck? And the detective was like, well, I mean, it's your truck, so do what you want with it. So they broke a window, which I think they probably should have processed it.
Yeah, so there's fingerprints or something.
Exactly. So they broke the back window just because they wanted to see if there was anything going on in the truck, like
Yeah, like if you're
anything at all.
panicking,
Yeah.
like where is he? And like, I gotta get into this truck.
Right.
As a mom, I could see myself breaking the window.
I would want to break the window also. And so they broke it open. And the first thing that they realize is that the driver's side is pushed too far forward for him to be the driver of the truck.
Oh.
So it wasn't in the right position for what he would be driving it at, because he had long legs, and so like he wouldn't, it wasn't where he would have had it. So they're like, that's weird. That's off, right? And then 90 minutes into the initial search, they find Dylan's boots. They're about 5 miles away from the camper trailer, and they're kind of by like a ditch that they use to like burn things like
That's not good.
and stuff. Yeah. So they find these boots, and they're his only pair of boots. Like they're his only work boots that his dad's like, he would have worn those probably another year. So he wouldn't have just gone and gotten another pair of boots. So they find these boots, and they look like they've just been tossed there. Like they're not placed like someone just took them off and set them aside. They look like they've been tossed.
Yeah.
And so that's like the first piece of evidence that like really gets them scratching their heads, because he wouldn't be anywhere without his boots.
Right.
Now, if they're his only shoes.
Especially where he was already on like a time crunch to get his seeds in the ground.
Yeah.
Like he had a job to do, you
Yeah.
know? It's not like he was done or like was like in a lull where he had time,
Yeah.
to go without him. That's really strange.
Yeah. And so the family even thought maybe he's in the seed truck. Like maybe he fell in somehow. So the family searched the grain truck, and like he wasn't in there. It was in the shed where he was trying to get it in when he was talking to his grandma, right? So he did that and completed that task. So now they're like, where the hell has he been? Right? Like the last known communication is his grandma.
Right.
But they're like trying to make a timeline of maybe where he had been before that. So, but then they find out the last time someone actually saw Dylan with their own eyes, it was Friday night, May 27th. So the night before, 30 miles away from his farm in Montello, Nevada. So he was sorry, it's a weird city name. Lucin. So his farm's in Lucin, Utah. 30 miles away is Montello, Nevada. And he would normally go there because it's kind of one of the main towns. Crap. Okay. So it's one of the main towns in his area. Is the next one over was that one in Nevada. So he would normally go there for gas, for supplies, for a hot meal, even like just to get fast food
like
or
Taco
whatever.
Bell or something.
Right. So that's the last known sighting of him.
And that was the night before they called in that he was missing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So Box Elder detectives. So Lucin, Utah is in Box Elder County over in that corner. Those detectives, according to Candace, his mom, didn't process the truck, and they let the family take the truck back to Idaho with them. But then it was like, oh, scratch that, because I think something else comes in the timeline that I don't think they made it all the way back to Idaho with it, but give me a sec with that. But the Box Elder detectives didn't process the truck. They didn't process the trailer. So they didn't do forensic anything on anything.
That's
The
really
boots that
weird.
the boots that they found weren't sent to a lab until 6 days after they found them. And the reason they said for that is because they're like, oh, well, we want to make sure that the cadaver dogs could use them for scent. But cadaver dogs don't use belongings for scent. They are literally only searching for the scent of a cadaver for
Yeah.
a dead body, decomposing corpse.
So they
So
were given just like a bullshit answer of like, oh, we don't want to do anything with it in case we need it for something else later. It's
yeah,
like, what do you mean though?
yeah, I
Like
feel
you
like
need it now for like, yeah, like forensics,
yeah,
blood or fingerprints or hair, you know?
I really don't think the Box Elder County detectives took it seriously enough in the very beginning because it wasn't until like a few weeks later that the FBI got involved. And a lot of the stuff that his parents would send to the detectives and Box Elder, they wouldn't like do anything with it. I think they thought that he was like a runaway. I think they thought that he like would show up
Like
eventually.
left on his own.
Yeah, because he's this like 19-year-old kid who's doing all this farm work by himself. They're probably like, oh, he just wanted a break. Oh, like probably
I feel like there needs to be a change in criteria,
right.
don't you think?
Yeah.
Like maybe change it from like 18 years old to 21, because it's stressful after you um graduate high school. It's like he's 19, so like even if he did run away or like needed a break or whatever, he's still not like he's still missing.
Yeah.
Like his truck is still there. His belongings are still there. That alone should show foul play, don't you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
It
His
shouldn't
only
be
form of
like,
transportation, as well as his shoes, are there. So where the heck did he go?
was his wallet left behind? Do you know?
No, the only thing that they still can't find but his cell phone and his wallet. So those are the things that are missing with him is the cell phone and the wallet and no pings from his cell phone since May 30th, I think. So anyway, so Candace had requested for tracking dogs to be used in the search. So tracking dogs they use the belongings, a scent to follow, right? The cadaver dogs are literally their only goal is to find a cadaver.
Right.
So she wanted to get these tracker dogs because she knew that they would be helpful in finding him. But they kind of brushed her off and said like, oh no, it had rained, so there's no way it's gonna work. And she's like, but let's try it, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a high priority to the Box Elder detectives. They're just like, nah, I don't think so. But this mom is just like, let's try anything.
Yeah, like help me.
Right. But
you
now,
know?
but now they've done all these searches with hundreds of people in the area that have walked all over the property that now them picking up that scent is probably going to be way harder than it would have been back in the beginning when he first went missing.
Yeah.
So
That's so heartbreaking.
they did
'Cause
find,
if you go missing, you would hope that like law enforcement or at least like the departments that are in charge of your case,
yeah,
like have their heads out of their asses a little bit.
right? The more time that goes by, the least likely you're going to find them. That's with kids. That's why there's a 24-hour goal or 48-hour goal or something like that to find kids when they go missing. Because after 48 hours, the likelihood of one finding them and two them being alive is very slim.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like exhaust everything you can within the first couple days so that your chances are higher.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I lost my place. So Box Elder detectives not only kind of brushed off the ideas of the family, but they also had declined help from the Elko County Sheriff's Office which is the police in the Montello, Nevada city. They offered help to the Box Elder group or police department and didn't get any kind of inkling that they wanted help or that they were accepting help or anything like that for a long time. Which my first thought, which I kind of feel bad for thinking it, but my first thought was like, do they know something? You know, like, but then it also was quickly like, I think they just didn't think it was as serious as it is.
I mean, yeah, that's probably what it is.
I don't know. I just think that he was well respected for being so young. That the only thing I can comprehend is someone who didn't know him. It was like a crime of opportunity because I feel like if anyone knew him, he wouldn't be a target.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he didn't have money. He spent all his money on his farm.
Right.
And he was living in a camper trailer on the farm.
Right. So it's like who is he bothering?
Yeah, like there's no one that I could see that because he was so hyper focused on his farm. I can't imagine what the motive would be other than like a crime of opportunity. But because the truck was power washed, they had to have known where his power washer was on the farm because he had one on the farm.
Unless he wasn't dead,
unless he's not dead. I hope that is the case. I hope he's okay. So a really great timeline and information source for this case is missinginamericanetwork.com. And I'll share the link on our story when we post this or release this story, but it gives you a whole timeline of what happened when.
Right.
And I didn't find it until there we go, until like right before we were about to get on earlier. And I was like, this is the best. Yeah. So and I found it on the Facebook group for Find Dylan. Let's see, what is it called? It's like Find Dylan Rounds official Facebook group, which I will also provide a link for in our story when we post this episode. But
yeah, for sure.
They give updates for not only the case, but also if they do any search groups. So for the first few weeks, they were posting search groups and when they were going where, what to bring if you had it, like ATVs or GoPros or drones or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so hundreds of people have been involved in that. Oh, there's a rainbow. Let's see if see if you can see it. Can you see it right there?
No.
No?
Nope, I don't see it.
Okay. I'm just wasting time on our stupid thing that is on a time limit. Anyway.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. It's really easy just to start a new meeting.
Yeah, it's just stupid that it stops after 40 minutes.
Oh.
Okay, so there's a few things that happened right before he went missing that are kind of important to know. Okay. So this thing is loading so damn slow, it's pissing me off. So May 25th, the Wednesday before he went missing, Dylan told his mom on the phone about a guy that he saw in the desert as he's driving from his farm to Nevada to that town, right? So he sees this guy and he just kind of pops out of nowhere in the middle of the desert. He has no shoes on. He's covered in like blood. And he's just like asked him for a ride and says, "Hey man, can you take me to town so I can call my dad to get picked up?" And Dylan told his mom that he didn't pick him up, but Dylan did in fact give the guy a ride. His name is Chase Venstra. Okay. So this Chase Venstra ends up becoming a suspect in his disappearance. Okay.
Right. Because it's like, what are you doing, guy?
Yeah. What a weird thing, right? Thursday, May 26th, the next day, they can locate his actions by being in this Montello, Nevada town at a bank. And they realize that, okay, they know he was there. Okay.
Right.
And let's see. That was the last on May 26th. That was the last phone call he had with his mom and dad. So that was the last time he talked to them.
Okay.
Friday on the 27th, eyewitnesses locate him in Montello at a eatery of some kind where he was having some meal. And then the next day, the next morning, phone records show the what is it called?
The towers.
Towers, yeah. So it shows him back in his farm, and he talked to his grandma that morning at 6:51 a.m. about having to get his seed truck back in the shed. Okay.
Right.
So we have visual sightings of him. We have verbal communication with him. Let's see. Then Saturday, May 28th, at 3:41, was his last cell phone data ping to the tower. So 3:41
a.m.
on the day that he went missing.
Oh, p.m.
Yeah. So phone call with grandma at 6:51 a.m. Then a phone data ping at 3:41 p.m.
Okay.
Okay. Then 10 o'clock p.m. that night, within their investigation, they were able to confirm that Jace Venstra, who was a suspect at one time, right? The
guy that got picked up, right?
Yeah, the weird desert bloody guy. He was seen on camera 200 miles away from Lucin that night. So
Okay, so it wasn't him.
So it probably wasn't.
Although,
Yeah, from 3 to 10, could he be 200 miles away?
yes.
7 hours, you could get that far away.
Yes.
So
absolutely you could.
I don't think that confirms his innocence. But then Sunday, May 29th.
Did they ever confirm like what he was doing
during that day? No, they can't. They have no idea. The last thing they know he did was put that seed truck in the shed.
Sorry, no, I mean is his name
Chase guy? Yeah, this is the only thing in the investigation that I can really see in like evidence wise.
Because I wonder, I'm like, if he's a suspect, I wonder if they asked him like, hey man, what were you doing when he picked you up? Like why were you out there?
I kind of wonder if it was like a drug thing, like he didn't pay, and so someone just left him out in the desert and he just
like punishment.
Yeah. Okay. So Sunday, May 29th, Dylan had not been called, or let's see, had not called his grandma back. So the grandma called Don, who is a guy that had worked for Dylan on the farm, and he was a family friend, and called to check on him since he wasn't answering the phone, right? So Don, farm helper and family friend, and Jim, another farm helper, go to Dylan's farm and look for him, but they can't find him. Okay.
Right.
So then the next day, Monday, May 30th, Memorial Day. This is when they realize he's missing. Don and Jim have not been able to find Dylan, so they let the grandma know. They say, I don't know. Right. And grandma reaches out to JD, which is Dylan's best friend, to see if he had heard from him. Right. And he hadn't, so JD then calls Candace at 11 a.m. on that Monday. Let's see. So Candace then calls around to other family members, and no one had heard from him since the grandma heard from him.
Right.
Then, of course, like we talked about, they get in the car. They drive to Lucin. Okay. Let's see. They find the boots and all of that stuff. Okay, now Tuesday. This is where things get really freaking weird. And as a mom, I can only imagine how psycho this gets. Okay.
Yeah.
Tuesday, May 31st, the day after he is confirmed missing, and they start doing search parties and stuff for him. Candace receives a call from a guy named Kurt, who used to work for Dylan on the farm. No longer does, used to.
Okay.
And he is like panicking and is on the phone with Candace and says, these guys have him. The guy named Chase that was in the desert, and another guy, can't remember his name, another dude, just not really involved in the story. They have Dylan, they have him hostage, all this stuff. He is going absolutely crazy. And he's like, this is where they are. They're at this guy's house. Chase has him. They're holding him hostage against his will. You have to get here. You have to, whatever. So
that is so scary.
Right. So Candace is like, well, shit. Like, what the fuck? So she calls, let's see, Justin, which is Dylan's dad, was also there. And so he calls Box Elder Police Department and says, hey guys, we just got this call. Get over there. And they're like, oh, sorry, we're not Nevada. So you're going to have to call Nevada. And he's like,
kidding?
Yeah, he's like, are you effing kidding me? No. If you don't help me with this, I'm going to go there and take care of it my own damn self because you're not doing anything. So that forces their hand into calling the Montello area. What is it called? Elko County
Jurisdiction.
Sheriff's Department or something. Anyway, so then they're like, hey, we got this call from this family. This is what they said. Whatever. Isn't like being helpful.
Yeah.
So then Candace calls Elko Sheriff's Department and says, hey, my son has been reported missing. This guy says that he's being held hostage. Take care of it. Help me find him. Blah, blah, blah. So they send detectives over to this guy's house. Hi, Levi. Okay, go inside. Levi just comes over and goes. So anyway, I was in the middle of that. So then the police go to this house that he's supposedly at, right? This guy, this Kurt craziness, gives them an address and says, this is where he is. They go to their house and they're like, we got this report that you have this missing kid. And they're like, no, we don't. And Chase wasn't there, the bloody desert guy. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it's only the guy who owns the house.
Yeah.
And yeah, Chase isn't here. Dylan's not here. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, no one's here. And so it was like, they're like, can we search the premises? So he's like, yeah, they'd search it. No one's there. Just the guy who owns the place. So this Kurt dude causes all this commotion over hearing from a third person, what's the word? Account. Like
through the grapevine?
Yeah, through the grapevine that a psychic medium said that he's being held hostage at this place. Freaking idiot.
Not helpful.
No, and he called the mom directly and said, this is where he is. Send everybody.
It's like, listen, they're desperate for answers too. Yeah. Like, I get that people get their answers wherever they want to get them.
Yep.
But hearing something from a psychic medium is not something that you should ever call the parents about.
Exactly.
You know, like maybe the tip line, if you really feel like it needs to be shared,
right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But to call directly the parents, like that is so.
That poor mom. Like, I mean, the dad too, but I just imagine because she got the call and is like, this is where your kid is. They're holding him hostage.
And that fear.
They're like, one, they know where he is so he can be saved. 2, he's in danger, so we have to save him. 3, the freaking box elder, police, whatever, don't give a shit. So like it's just
all of that was unnecessary.
it's a whole like emotional like torment that this stupid effing Kurt dude put this mom through, and it pisses me the hell off.
Do they know who this Kurt guy is? Like, is he friends of the family, or is he just some rando?
He just used to work with Dylan at the farm.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so he's like not even whatever, he's stupid. Okay. So within the first week, that was only like the day after he's been reported missing. Okay. So search week 1 includes like the first week includes the Box Elder Sheriff's Department along with Weber County Fire and Rescue. They have helicopters, airplanes, ATVs, horses, and foot parties, like everyone's, and cadaver dogs. They searched for 6 hours, call off the search because they were like pretty confident that by a 3 by 5 mile radius that he wasn't there. They couldn't find any sign of him. 200 to 300 search volunteers of all types searching on the Utah side, including five air searches until they ran out of fuel. So they're like exhausting as much as they can, right? Not only the search volunteers, but the Diesel brothers, Heavy D, they got involved searching with helicopters, and they took video footage of tire tracks that they thought were something, but it ended up being a volunteer's truck that had been searching for Dylan. So just kind of upsetting because they thought it could have been something, but it wasn't. They also drained the pond at Dylan's farm, and he wasn't there either.
Weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it really is just like no trace.
Right. It's like there's something, something happened. There's enough weird evidence, someone did something and know something, but it's like after the phone call with grandma, it's like he's gone. There's nothing.
Okay, think about it. So let's say he's just on his property near his truck or whatever, right? And let's say like another car pulls up, and let's say that these people are there to abduct him for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Okay. So, first of all, why would they feel the need to... Hi, Levi.
Okay, go inside, please. Please. Levi, if you don't listen, then you're gonna be in big trouble. Can you please go inside with Dad?
We're not going to be out here for too much longer.
We're telling scary stories. Yeah, run away.
These are way too scary.
Go. Okay, go ahead.
But okay, so but why would they feel the need to erase their tracks? You know,
Right.
Like I feel like that was an extra step that it's like,
it's ominous.
But why?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, you know. So that makes me think like, okay, so is it somebody that he knows? You know, because I'm just thinking FBI, like if they were questioning all of his inner circle people, and let's say they had footprints, you know damn well they're going to be checking everybody's feet to see if they match.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So like I wonder if it's someone he knows, and they thought that far ahead to think we have to literally cover our tracks so that they don't circle around to us, you know, because I feel like that's just such a weird extra step to be like,
it is an extra step that you're like, man, it's freaking me out. I don't know. So,
and also too, like, where are their tracks if a car pulled up or a vehicle pulled up to take him, where are the tracks from that vehicle?
Right. Unless they were on foot somehow.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty big property and kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and he's a 19-year-old cowboy. You really think that one person could take him on foot? Unless it was a group of people.
I don't know.
Or if it was
someone with a gun.
Yeah, or someone with a gun. But don't you think that he probably had his own? Someone who's out there?
I know he did have one, but I don't think he had it on his person all the time. I think it was like in his trailer, but not He had a
It wasn't
pistol, I think,
carried.
in his trailer, but I don't think he carried it normally. But okay,
It's
so
also strange. Like I know that
know.
we probably don't know anything, or maybe the FBI knows more than they've even let the public know about.
Well, and
But
that's something that even the parents have said in interviews. They're like, we can't even give you a speculation because there's information that we can't say yet. But you can tell, like, I was watching his mom, well, and his dad, but his dad just looked so sad. But his mom, you can kind of tell that she, like, knows he's not okay. You know, like, you can just see it.
like something has happened to him.
Something happened, and his dad just looks like he's ready to fight someone. Like that they probably know a lot more and they probably have come to the conclusion that maybe someone has hurt him, because otherwise, where is he? Where's his phone pinging from? Like, why isn't it pinging from anywhere? You know, like, it just doesn't look good is all I'm gonna say. Like, I am praying and hoping that
There are miracles. I mean, Elizabeth Smart, for example.
Yeah, it happens. Like, he could be just knocked out somewhere or being held somewhere. You know, like, you don't hope that, but you, like, I hope that he's okay. You know what I mean? Because he's like, what a loss to the world to lose such a hardworking kid that, like, just wanted his own farm and to, like, provide for himself completely and, like, work day in and day out for this one thing he wanted, and he finally gets it. He finally freaking plants his seed that effing day and someone takes him out. Are you kidding me?
It's like almost symbolical, you know?
There has to be, like, a good ending to this. There has to be, because, like, it's just such a big loss to the society. Like, I don't know. Okay. Anyway.
No, I hear you.
So Thursday, June 2nd, just a couple days after he is reported missing, the family is told by detectives that they found a drop of blood on the boots. Not a lot. It's not like a gushing of blood. It looks like maybe a nosebleed type of drop.
Hey, but that's more than nothing.
Right. But they hadn't tested to know if it was his or if it was animal or if it, you know, they don't know yet. Okay. Saturday, June 4th, Chase Venstra was arrested in Davis County on unrelated charges. So the bloody guy in the desert, he was arrested.
Good.
He's been charged with
questioned.
Yeah, something unrelated. He has been questioned by detectives, as well as Dylan's mom has talked to him, and she does not believe that he's involved. She believes that he's not in the greatest walk of life, but not involved in what's going on. He's just a mess, right? Okay, then Sunday, June 5th, the family was given permission. Okay, given permission by Box Elder Sheriff's Office to take the pickup truck. They didn't do any forensic testing on it. Okay. Then Monday, June 6th, Dylan's boots are finally logged into the lab. Freaking long enough. And then the Friday, June 10th, Candace met with EXO for almost 5 hours. Oh, sorry, the Elko County Sheriff's Office. She meets with them for like 5 hours and they go over the case for like all over. They comb through it with a fine-tooth comb, and they finally agree to help additional resources for the search at this point. But again, Box Elder
done this days ago.
Right. Okay. Then so this is a big theme in the Facebook page, is like people are giving their assumptions or giving their ideas or speculations or whatever, and then some people are taking this as a fact of the case. So that's why I'm reading from missinginamericanetwork.com's fact document, because there's so much on social media of people speculating or making comments here and there that just aren't right. Or I've seen a lot a lot of comments about them saying that Candace just wants her 15 minutes of fame.
Are you serious?
I'm not even kidding you. And it pissed me the hell off. And it pissed off the freaking admin of the Facebook page. She's like, you guys have to be kidding me. Her son is missing. So of course she's gonna be all up in the media trying to get him found.
You better be.
Because
if she's not, that's when you should worry.
The police aren't doing enough for him.
Yeah, they're not doing diddly squat.
So
she's getting up there being mama bear as she should.
Right.
Fighting for her son. And you know what? I think that if any of you went missing, you damn well better hope that your mom is out there fighting for you, because the police probably aren't.
Exactly. So week 2, the search includes they organized a search for a particular bunker. So like in this area there are like preppers, right? People who have bunkers with supplies and stuff in them. So they're like, maybe he's being held in a bunker. So they went and found these bunkers and they were cleared. He wasn't there. Other areas of interest were searched by the Elko County Sheriff's Office and public volunteers. On Tuesday, June 14th, Bonneville County in Idaho took Dylan's pickup truck into custody.
Finally,
I don't think they tested it. I think they took it so no one else touched it just in case. I don't think they were actually running tests on it yet.
They're like, oh, now we'll take this seriously.
Right, exactly. Wednesday, June 15th, the investigation is finally classified as a criminal investigation. The FBI then becomes involved on this day, and they're the ones who classified it as criminal. Okay.
They must have found something that was that signified crucial, right? That was foul play. So did they find out like the blood on the boot?
I haven't heard yet, honestly. It was just a drop of blood, so I'm not sure if they really did much with it. So now
they must have found something, though. They must have
found something that they couldn't deny that someone was involved. Right? But I wonder if because Candace and Justin, his parents, were so loud and so like involved in trying to get the freaking police departments involved, if because it's over 2 states, and I didn't read anything of this, and this is just me speculating, but I wonder if it's because 2 different states are involved, then it can go to the FBI level, because we have the Nevada town that he was in, and then we have the Lucin, Utah that he was in. So it's possible because it crosses state lines of the investigation. So there's no territory. It's the FBI now is involved. That's just me kind of thinking about it, but
I mean that makes sense because like you just think about the two different sheriff offices being like, well, is it your job or my job?
Right.
And then eventually they have to be like, you know what? Let's leave it for the FBI.
Yeah,
you know?
Let's let them do it because we can't freaking come to an agreement. So now that the FBI is involved, on Saturday, June 18th, both of Dylan's campers that he had on his property were taken into police custody to do forensic testing. Finally. Freaking finally. Okay, so week 3, they didn't do any search parties because they were giving the FBI as well as a nonprofit group, the EcuSearch. They are based out of Texas. They do nonprofit search and rescue stuff. So they were doing an investigation as well as the FBI, and they didn't want a bunch of people kind of getting in their way. So they took a week off of search parties. Okay. So then Friday, June 24th, they searched 18 mines and caves. They thoroughly searched all the caves and mines that were in the area to confirm that he was not in them. Fallen in, dumped in, whatever have you. The reward for information on Dylan's missing case has been increased from $20,000 to $100,000.
100. Wow.
One thing that pisses me off about the people who think that they know things is that they were like saying Candace wanted her 15 minutes of fame, but there is not one GoFundMe out there for funding. This is all out of their pockets from the family. So they're not trying to get any money from this at all. They're literally, their only focus is Dylan.
Yeah.
Like, why would anyone accuse her of? Ugh, it just breaks my heart for her because all she wants is her kid. Like, it just makes me so mad.
I feel like people are just so awful behind keyboards, you
I
know?
think it's insane how grotesque people can be with their commenting. I can't even believe it. Like, it blows my mind how people think it's okay to say certain things to somebody just because it's not to their face. Like, it blows my mind.
Right.
There's
Like,
just people who can't help themselves and they do it to
yeah.
people who they don't even know, and it's just like, it's sad that there are people that just think that they are more valuable because of the words that they say bring other people down.
Right. Well, it just makes you wonder. It's like, does that make you feel better? Does
Right?
that really make you feel better?
Right. It's
And
sad.
if it doesn't, and you're purely doing it to make someone else feel worse about themselves or what they're doing, keep your damn mouth shut, you know?
For
Like, if you
real.
don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Like, how
Yeah.
hard is that concept? Sorry, rant
No,
over.
you're good. Okay. So there's $100,000 reward for any information directly leading to the safe return or arrest and conviction of any persons responsible for the disappearance of Dylan Rounds. Now, there is a suspect currently now in custody. Okay. His name is James, also known as Jim Brenner. He has a history of being a convicted felon. On Thursday, June 16th, law enforcement served a search warrant on Brenner's trailer. He's a neighboring farm to Dylan. Okay. The charges say, quote, during that search, ball ammunition, ignition caps, black powder, and speed loads, all related to, quote, muddle loading, were located and photographed in the trailer, but the items were not seized at this time. On June 21st, officers went back to Brenner's trailer with another search warrant and more ammunition, a muzzle loader, black powder, ignition caps were seized by law enforcement. Then June 23rd, James Brenner was charged in First District Court with 3 counts of being a restricted person in possession of a firearm, which is the 3rd-degree felony. June 30th, James Brenner was charged in the U.S. District Court with being a felon in possession of a firearm. And then on July 7th, which is about 11 days ago from today, a joint press release by Box Elder Sheriff's Office and the FBI named James Brenner as a suspect in the disappearance of Dylan Rounds. Now, from what I've read, I know I'm almost done.
No, you're good.
From what I've read, James Brenner was squatting in a trailer on Dylan's property.
Okay.
Where he was squatting was very, very, very close to where the boots were found. Okay. Then an unknown friend that they don't name, they call him DH, I believe. Just his initial, okay, so Jim was, oh my gosh, this is going off memory because I literally did this story today. So on July 7th was Jim's first initial interview with the FBI. Okay, that was
Yeah.
his first interview.
Right.
Right after that interview, he goes to his friend, this DH person, and he says, hide my muzzle loader, hide all these firearms, because once I got in trouble with the law and they took everything I had, so keep these for safekeeping. Okay. So this guy was like, okay, weird, but whatever. So then the 21st of June, nope, 22nd of June, this DH person was interviewed by the FBI.
Yeah.
And he says, here's all the guns he gave me. This is what he said. He wanted me to keep them for him.
Gage, you are a stand-up citizen.
Right.
Good
This is
for
what you do. Turn your friends in if they're into shady shit. Yeah.
Yes. They are not worth keeping. Like,
No.
they are not worth going to prison for.
Exactly. So then
Guaranteed.
he's like, here's all the stuff. Okay. So then they get a search warrant for Brenner's stuff. Then they come back to the DH friend the next day, and he's like, oh, he also gave me a 22 rifle. I forgot to tell you, but I was gonna keep it because someone that owns this owes me money, and so I was gonna just keep it, but you can have it. He also gave me this.
Like,
So
take it, but if you guys end up not actually needing it, I want it back because
you know, just in case you don't need it, that guy owes me money, and
oh
I
my
thought that would
gosh.
like level the playing field a little bit. Anyway,
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's something that I would do. If the
Right.
FBI came to me and was like, "Do you have this?" I'd be like, I mean, yeah. Like, if you guys don't need it after you put it down with your fingerprints and whatever, like, I want that.
right.
So,
Like, can you just give it to me? Okay. So Dylan, we will post photos, of course, and we'll also provide updates if we hear anything new. But Dylan Round is 5'8". Nope. Scrap that. I don't know where I got those letters from.
Okay.
Numbers.
letters.
Sorry. Okay. Dylan Round is 5'10". He weighs 160 pounds. He has brown eyes, brown hair, and he just looks like a little farmer boy. He's kind of cute. Poor kid.
Yeah,
But
I remember his picture. He just looks like any other 19-year-old kid.
yeah, he just, he's kind of small. Kind
Baseball
of,
cap and flannel.
yeah, like he's just, I think he just looks like Idaho. I don't know. But anyway, so
Yeah.
if you know anything about what happened to Dylan, any information at all, please call the Box Elder County Sheriff at 435-723-5227. You can also email tips and information to finddylanrounds@gmail.com. Now listen, don't say that you've heard something from a psychic that your friend talked to a couple weeks ago. No, it's not helpful. If you know where he is, if you've heard anything legit from a person,
Or if you've seen him.
please call the Box Elder County Sheriff's Department. But also, like, it's said everywhere. If you see something, say something. Even if you think a kid looks like somebody, you're like, okay, it's maybe not, but he fits the description. It doesn't hurt to say something. I'm sure they're getting calls and calls and calls. But for real though, you guys, if you know anything, it's a small town he lives in. Someone else knows something. They have to.
Someone does.
They have to know something. Like how he disappeared. Okay, listen, this guy, if this Brenner guy did it, okay.
Right.
He's like an older dude. He's like 58 or something like that. Okay. So he had to have removed, if he hurt Dylan, he would have had to remove him from the area. Where would he have put him? Like, what would he have done with him? Right?
Well, you said the cadaver dogs searched a 5-mile radius, right?
They did use the cadaver dogs in that 3 by 5 mile radius in the first week. But they didn't find anything. But they didn't use
That's close to where he would have been squatting though, right?
Yes. About, I think he was 5 miles away of where he was squatting. But now listen, they didn't use tracker dogs, which could have picked up the actual scent of Dylan's belongings. So if they would have used tracker dogs at the time, they probably could have found something faster. But I also think, like, I heard an interview that she did, that Candace did with shoot, what's her name? It was a podcast with what's her name? Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. That podcast. So she did an interview with her, and she was saying it's too late. Hundreds of people have gone through the area, but there was another case, and I don't remember what it was called or who the person was, but they were found by a tracking dog over like roads and roads, like where people pass on roads every single day. So it's very possible that it could still be picked up. And I think it's worth a shot. I don't know if they've used tracker dogs yet. From what I could see, they hadn't. But I think they assumed it was just kind of a lost cause. But I think it's possible that it's worth looking into that. But it's also worth looking into, I think they were looking at doing something else. I can't remember what it was, but
So this Brenner guy, it's
Yeah.
Brenner, right?
yeah.
So he is a suspect because of his rifle being suspicious.
But I
Not
also
that they
think
found
they
anything.
have more information that they're not sharing,
Okay.
because so Brenner was squatting on his property, but he was a neighbor of Dylan. So why was Brenner on the property?
Right. But I also want to know what's up with that other guy though, the desert bloody guy.
I think he was just an idiot. Like, I think he was just doing bad things, but I don't think he had anything. I mean, because Candace has talked to him, as well as the Box Elder County people. They had talked to him, but I think he was being so, like, he was like trying to be helpful, and he was trying to give any information he had. So I don't think they suspect him, but he is still in custody for unrelated charges. So they could go back to him and ask him more questions if they needed to. It's not like he just kind of up and disappeared, because I think that would have been a little bit more like, what's the word, suspicious, if he would have just disappeared. But
Yeah, there's definitely somebody knows something.
it just blows my mind how he just disappeared. Like freaking Susan Powell, how she's just gone.
Right.
Like, how, I don't know. Okay, my story's over, but please, if you know something, say something. Share his face everywhere. Like,
Join the search parties if you see them come up.
yeah, I will make sure to share the link of the Facebook group for you guys to follow any new information. But if I hear anything new, I'll make sure to share. But holy crap. I was like thinking, because missing persons can usually be a pretty short story. And so I was like, this is gonna be quick.
And it's so recent too, though.
Yeah.
For how recent of a story this one is, you had a lot of information. Like a lot, but not a lot at the same
But
time.
that's because
You had a story.
his parents are so up everybody's ass about what's going on. They're like, you're not gonna forget my kid. Like, I hope if I'm ever in that situation that I am, like that I'm like, nope, don't forget my kid's face. I'm sharing it everywhere. So they're like doing interviews in Idaho. They're trying to share it in Utah. They're in Nevada. They're all over the place. And they're not giving up. They're not gonna let anyone forget his face. And I was like, oh, I just like think that his parents are so badass. Like, and I love,
You just pray for a happy ending.
yeah, it just breaks my heart for them. And so that's why, like, I hope that if I like I hope I'm never in their situation, but I hope that if I ever was, that I'd be like them, like I would just never ever stop, you know.
Or if you went missing, you'd hope that somebody would want to find you that badly.
Right?
And not just be like, you know.
Be the kind of person people want to find.
Yeah. You know, I think a good indicator is when you played hide and seek as a kid. If you were never found, they stopped looking.
They just were like, it's a lost cause. That sucks. I'll see you later. I'm going in for a snack.
You're like, guys, I haven't been hiding for that long. Oh, that's dark. But it's true.
Yeah,
Oh man. Well, are you ready for my story?
I am. I'm so sorry. It's like 9.
No, it's okay. I like when your stories are longer. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I just like listening to stories, especially like when it's like a live story, because like you listen to a podcast and like you have your opinions, but you're just talking to a speaker. But like to have you tell the story and then I can be like, wait, what? But what about this? And
I
then
do
it's
like that, like you can talk and then like someone responds to what you say. 'Cause,
yes,
like,
I guess
like,
that's what I mean.
when I feel like I'm talking back to like Karen and Georgia on My Favorite Murder, I'm just like, they can't hear me, but I'm just like talking at them,
Right.
you know.
Okay, so I sent you a picture.
Okay.
You want to describe what this building looks like to our listeners? Have you ever seen this building before? It's in downtown Salt Lake City.
No.
Never? Does it look familiar, like you've ever driven by it or have seen it?
Is it the It's not the library.
It's not a library.
No, but I love buildings like that. I love like the old aged brick and like the arched windows. Like it just looks so
Classy.
cool.
Yeah, like it's like what you see now looks so square and boring and like
Literally, I wish I was on the East Coast sometimes because it's like their buildings are so unique and interesting and like built a million years ago, not really, but like,
but
built.
has more foundation than ours.
Yeah, all of our stuff looks freaking like Daybreak looks all exactly the same. Like it's cute.
Right.
It's like the lake house, whatever. But it all looks so like modern and ugly. Like it's
Cookie
fine.
cutter the same. Like we'd see it on like the
Yeah.
Home Goods magazine.
Yes, it's home goods. But
Right.
like I like the
History
the
book buildings.
sorry, you didn't what?
Oh, the history book buildings.
Yes, I want to live in one of those. Definitely haunted.
For
But
sure. This building is haunted. For sure.
for sure.
And I even have video evidence of
No,
paranormal activity for this story.
really?
I really do.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 glasses in, so I'm all about it.
Okay. I was wondering because like the way you're holding the glass is very like whooshy.
Yeah. It's like how has it not spilled yet?
Yeah. Well, now you can just sit back and relax. And
I'm here for it. And it's getting dark and it's just
yes,
perfect timing.
I hope you get into this story because I'll tell you there's a lot of like I don't want to say a lot, but it's history heavy, but there's still paranormal to it. So it's
Okay,
like
let's hear it.
just okay. So we are talking about the Alta Club Hotel. Have you heard of it? Have
Alta Club Hotel. No.
you ever heard of the Alta Club?
No.
Okay. So the Alta Club Hotel, it's nicknamed by its members as the Club. It's located in downtown Salt Lake City. The
Okay.
exact address is 100 East and South Temple. So let's go through the history. So back in the day, like 150 years ago, the mining in the Utah mountains blew up, for lack of better terms. Like people came to Utah for the mining.
Yeah.
The founders of a lot of these different mines quickly became very wealthy.
Yeah.
But many of these men were non-Mormon, and they
Not
were,
allowed.
yeah, basically. So I guess like at the time, if you were a Mormon and a business owner, you weren't usually working in the mines. You were more like in the city. And then
Okay.
like the non-Mormons were usually like if you were non-Mormon and wealthy, you were probably a mine founder or owner,
Hmm.
whatever that's called. And
So they
as some
started
people,
in the government offices early.
yeah, exactly. And like I didn't really put it in my notes, but like it kind of seems like in the beginning the well, it doesn't seem like it. It's documented that the Mormons and the non-Mormons were very divided,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And even socially, like within like the millionaires, like the big honchos of all these companies and stuff, like there was still a divide. So the Alta Club was started because they felt like there needed to be somewhere for the non-Mormon business owners to go because the
Ah,
Mormons had a place to go already because they had
so it's
church and
where the
where
real party's at.
exactly. So so they started hanging out at different saloons around town. That was just their meeting spot. They're like, well, I guess this is kind of our vibe.
Yeah.
So they hung out at different saloons, and as their group began to grow, they realized that these saloons were not big enough to hold their party. Like, it was too crowded. So they decided they're going to start a club and they were going to move it to a place where they could all be seated and be served dinner or be served drinks privately. So let me jump back a little bit. So the club officially started on March 3rd of 1883 by a group of 81 businessmen. And at first, Mormons weren't allowed to be in the club. Originally, the club was situated in an area known as the Alta Block, and it's between Main Street and West Temple in downtown Salt Lake. So if you're familiar with that area, it was there, but it got torn down like in the 60s or something. So, and the Alta Block was really just like a large commercial building that had storefronts on the very first floor, and then offices or apartments or suites or whatever it was for the rest of the building. It's like
Oh,
five
I
more
see.
floors after that. Yeah, so they occupied the top two floors of the Alta Block in the beginning.
Okay.
Um, the Alta Block. Oh, sorry.
Do you see the guy in the doorway?
Oh, let me look. Oh, creepy.
Right? It looks like it could be a ghost, but I bet it's just a guy.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm just here. Like, why are you taking a picture? But that's creepy.
Right?
Imagine seeing like that as a ghost.
Like if you were a ghost seeing this picture?
No, no, I mean like if you saw that apparition
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. That
as a
would be
ghost, like if you're like
very
in person and you saw that in the
you just
doorway.
said, what if you saw this as a ghost?
Oh, that's not what I meant. I'm
I
sorry.
gotcha. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so in 1892, the club was relocated a few blocks down the street to the top of the Dooley block. So they went from the Alta block to the Dooley block, and they stayed there for 6 years.
Okay.
After about 5 years of them being in the Dooley block, though, they were like, okay, I think now is the time to get our own building. Like, let's not rent anymore. Let's like build our own thing.
Yeah.
So, um, so in 1897, construction began on the new and current building. So the first picture I showed you, in 1897 is when construction began of that building. It was completed in less than a year and it was officially opened on June 1st of 1898.
Oh, I have almost drank this whole bottle.
That's crazy. I haven't drank wine in so long.
You see it?
Wow. Yeah. You got two more glasses in there, don't you think? Maybe
Probably.
one more. One and a half.
Probably two. Because my glasses are like half-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably 2-ish.
So I sent you a picture of what the building looked like after it was first constructed, and then a picture of what it looks like now.
Okay.
The building was designed by Frederick Albert Hale and was based on an Italian Renaissance style architecture.
Huh.
So you know what that means. that's that's the style.
Okay.
So meanwhile, during the hopping around between locations of the club, just 3 years after the club officially opened or formed, they began allowing Mormons to join. So the divide between the Mormons and the non-Mormon elites of Salt Lake City began to fade as they started doing more business deals with each other because they were allowed to be in the same club together.
Okay.
So that really helped kind of smooth things over between Mormons and non-Mormons, as seeing people as like leaders, doing
Yeah.
business with them. They're like, oh, so they're not all bad. Okay. Over the next 100 years, the local businessmen had a place to go that was elegant, that was private, and was men only. So wives and widows, they were allowed to be in the building, but they had to enter through a separate entrance on the side of the building
What?
because only men could enter through the front. And this was this way clear until 1985. Almost exactly 100 years later, a woman named Megan Peters filed a lawsuit against the club saying that they were violating civil rights by not allowing women to join.
Yeah.
And especially considering how by then a lot of women in business, especially in Salt Lake City, had made huge strides, like as lawyers, as doctors, as politicians, etc. Like it was a huge slap in the face to not let women join at this point, and to still make them go through a separate entrance. The argument that it was against civil rights was dismissed by a judge because it was a private club. So the argument was that, well, just like a private residence, you can allow who you want into your home. Just like with this private club, they can allow who they want into their club.
Right.
Like, it's not for me to decide. So the whole thing was dismissed, but because the club didn't want bad publicity and they wanted to like basically shut the women up, they took a vote and they decided to allow women to join the club. So the first female member was Genevieve Atwood, and she was
Genevieve.
all right. A lot of people in the comments are like, Genevieve is such a badass.
Right.
But then part of me was like, I mean, she didn't do anything. I mean, like, she wasn't the one that fought for women to join.
She was just the one that joined first.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So it's like, I mean, anyway, good for her, but scared me.
Oh my gosh.
Stop it. Scared me.
From this side, it sounded like someone was just like screaming.
Oh, that was Philly. He does that whenever the neighbors go out on their deck.
Yeah.
He basically goes and tells them to shut up.
Hey, I'm gonna go turn on a light real quick. One sec.
Okay.
It's not gonna be much, but something.
Yeah, you're good.
Did that do anything? No, it didn't.
A little bit.
Oh well.
Don't you have like lights out there?
I do, but I'm using that extension cord for my computer.
Oh.
Yeah. Or else it would be lit up in here.
Lit up. I'm using one of my photography soft boxes.
I should have next time. I'll do that. I'll get like a strip that has multiple things.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Next time.
I'm just using that because then I'm like, because I didn't know how the lighting would be in here, and I'm like, well then that's just constant. And I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And it's not like blaring in my eye either. So
I'll do that next time. When we do our on deck at dusk, I'll do that.
Oh yeah, okay, that works. Which that's a wild story.
I'm excited for the international ones because there's nuts stories.
I'll give you a hint. I'm not doing a location. I'm doing something that happened.
Okay.
And it's just like, anyway, it's just wild. It's just so crazy. It's so crazy. Okay, I'm excited too. I'm glad that we're doing them. And I was also, sorry, this is off topic, but I was also thinking what we could do for, like, if we wanted, like, whatever we release. So, like, this next on deck at dusk, like, if it is released in August, then like maybe a year from now, August is when we can release it on Spotify.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
okay. Yeah.
So it's like you'll get it eventually, but it's gonna be a long time. You
Yeah.
know, so in that way too, like we could save it to be like if we wanted a week off,
Yeah.
and it could be like a pre-recorded episode.
Yeah, that's a
So
good idea.
just just thinking. Okay, so so the first female member of the Alta Club was Genevieve Atwood, and she was a Salt Lake City mayor as well as Utah's head geologist. And so she was the person basically like the head honcho of Utah's earthquake team, basically. So she was the one to help us understand like how it works here and like what we need to do for earthquake safety.
Okay.
Over time, the culture in downtown Salt Lake City had changed, and not everyone was meeting at the Alta Club anymore. So the bar was, in other words, lowered for who could join the club. So it used to be like the elites of Salt Lake City that could join the
Uh-huh.
but then over time, like people just stopped coming. So they're like, okay, well, if you can pay the membership fees, then you can be part of the club.
Yeah.
So right now, like that's just how it is. Like if like they want people to join, it's just really expensive. So like it's one of those things that if you have the money and want to spend it, then go for it. But
So
you don't
like
have to be anybody special.
what does it get you though?
So I wrote a list of all the membership inclusions.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious what this rec center involves.
Okay, so there's free Wi-Fi.
Whoa.
I know.
You can get that at McDonald's.
I know. So there's free Wi-Fi. There's access to other clubs from around the world. So I guess kind of like a timeshare, I'm assuming, where it's like they have a list of like places you can go and saying, okay, well, like if you're traveling to Louisiana, we have a club that you can stay at there
Okay.
and go to. They have access, or if you are a member, you'll have access to the dining facilities and the catering services. And it's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So a lot of people use that for like business meetings. Like if you want to take somebody to lunch, but you don't
Uh-huh.
want it to go like you don't want to go to like Applebee's, then members can go to the Alta Club, and it's private, it's elegant, it's fancy. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so there's that, and then you'll have access to their private event planner. So if you're also wanting to host like a big convention or like meeting or whatever it is, then you have somebody on staff that's their only job is to help you plan that event.
Okay.
You'll have access to their business center, which is really just a big library. Like you have books and desks and phones and computers and copiers and printers and fax machines.
Because rich people don't have those of their own.
Right. Yeah. It's like you can just go buy your own office
Or
with
go to the
the
library.
yeah. The hotel, so the Alta Club, that's like the main uses of it, but it also is a hotel. So
Okay.
there's 19 guest rooms, and apparently they're like super bougie, like super fancy hotel
Hmm.
rooms.
Okay.
Like some would say that they're the best in Salt Lake City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Some would
Uh,
say that. Is it
some
people
would
who are
say.
in the Alta Club?
Well, I just saw the reviews on Yelp.
Okay.
So, and people were like, yeah, like people even wrote about the bathrooms being the best bathrooms in Salt Lake. And I guess it's because like they literally have a guy that stands in the bathroom that hands you like a jar of combs and some towels.
In your own bathroom?
Not in the hotel. Sorry, like in the Alta Club, like in the
I was
building.
like, I would not want that.
So like I'm sorry, I'm just saying like they're saying
Like
that the hotel rooms are nice
facility.
and then the public bathrooms are
I
nice.
see. I got you. Okay.
Could you imagine like going into your like room, like, okay, you're room 11. It's like, okay, cool. And you walk in and like you walk into the bathroom and there's like some guy standing there with like
There's
a
just a guy with a comb. He's like,
that would
here.
be so creepy.
I'd be like, you gotta leave, man. Like,
You'd be like, I'm hired to be here. It's like, well, I'll hire you to not be here.
right. Is it the same kind of bathrooms that like they'll give you like perfumes and stuff?
Maybe.
Have you
I don't
seen
know.
that in like
Yeah.
movies? Yeah, and like the crazy bougie hotels, they have like perfume stations.
I wouldn't be surprised because they said they even still have shoe shining stations at this place.
What?
Yeah. There's also a billiards room, a salon, and a fitness center.
Huh. So it's a
The
rec center and a library all mixed into one.
Yeah, really though. The club also features a rotating art exhibit. So yeah,
Wow.
it's really nice. Oh, they also have game nights every Wednesday, and they rotate trivia and bingo.
So it's
And
also a old person's home.
I think so. Like I think that the crowd is probably older. I
Yeah.
think so. Because it says, like the Yelp reviews, a lot of them mentioned how awesome the Christmas parties are. And it's like, old people plan the best Christmas parties.
Because they're like they're
They
not
are
like to get
Christmas.
wasted. They're like they actually have like grandma energy, you know?
Yeah, but though, if they do want to get wasted, that's all the better.
Well, yeah, but I mean like they don't have like a half naked Santa, you know? They have like
They
Schmidt.
have class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's a grandma vibe Christmas party, which I'm all about. Warm
Right.
cookies,
Hmm.
little,
Cheese balls.
yeah. And then like just like music that has like the old timey like
Like
50s
Frank
Frank
Sinatra.
Sinatra. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm living in that whole thing in my mind right now.
Okay, well, the Alta Club, they throw the best Christmas parties. So when you're ready to party at Christmas time, you know where the best one's at.
Well, Christmas is my favorite time of year. So if anyone wants to take me to the Alta Club for Christmas,
Yeah, you'd have to be
Josh,
one. Or if Josh is rich enough to be a member, then he could take you. But
there's no way he is, but he would try so hard.
he would try so hard.
He just wants to be in clubs, you know. He wants to be
I could,
included.
I could see Josh showing up and being like, "Do you guys have like a day pass?"
Yeah. My wife wants to go to this Christmas party. Do you have like a
Yeah.
1 day pass like the friggin' rec
Like,
center?
we'll bring something. Like, I'm sure this is
Right.
potluck, right?
We've got a cheese ball or two.
Okay, so that was fun, but let's talk about the deaths.
Oh,
So
yeah.
in the 1950s, a man was smoking a cigar in one of the hotel rooms, on the third floor to be exact. And while he was smoking his cigar, he fell asleep, and his room caught fire, and he burned alive.
Oh my gosh. Was
The
it
entire
spontaneous human combustion though?
No, they said it was his cigar.
Well,
But then
but
again,
maybe.
like forensics in the 50s, they were probably just like, ah, it burned down. Did the guy smoke? They're like, yeah. They're like, oh, well, that's probably what it was.
Huh.
You know? But yeah, maybe it was spontaneous human combustion.
Because that just I mean, if they light on fire and they're just sitting there, if you light on fire, you're gonna jump around and try to get it out.
But if he fell asleep, though,
But don't you think you'd wake up if you were on fire?
that's true. I probably would.
I feel like you would.
I probably would. Yeah.
Let's not try it, but let's just assume that you'd probably wake up.
Yeah, well, let's only speculate. Okay, so the entire floor was closed to occupants for 50 years. Do you feel like that's excessive? I feel like that's
Which
excessive.
floor?
The third floor, the one that he burned down with himself. It was unoccupied for 50 years.
50.
50.
That's excessive. Yes.
That's excessive. And they had insurance money because I read that in the 70s they got insurance money and like kind of fixed it up, but it's like, why not just like redo the whole floor because you're gonna get revenue from that floor, you know? Like,
Yeah.
what money are you worried about losing? Like, you spend money to make money. But anyway, I don't know.
Huh. Interesting.
So, do you want to know what motivated them to finally fix the third floor?
Um, money.
Yeah, because, well, money and recognition, I guess. Because in 2002 was the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, and
Oh.
I guess the French delegation needed somewhere to stay. So they were like, "Hey, we have a third floor."
And they're like, oh shit, we gotta get it together.
Literally though, they hurried they just raised money and fixed it up so that the French delegation could stay there for the Olympics.
Wow.
Isn't that so funny? So ever since they renovated that third floor, it has been haunted by what many believe is the man who burned alive. Dun, dun,
Really?
dun. Yes.
Hmm.
So some have claimed that they've seen an apparition of a man in the upper floors. So not even just the third floor, but like in the top floors. A lot of people claim to see an apparition of a man standing there. Some have said that the spirit of a woman is possibly in the basement of the building. But I didn't come across any deaths that were documented of any women in the building, so I don't know about that one, but they think it's a woman because every time something happens down there that could be paranormal, usually the smell of lilac perfume will fill the room.
Ooh. Have you ever smelled Grandma Great?
No.
I have one time
Really?
in my sleep and I woke up to it.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what keeps happening though?
What?
Which like I haven't said this out loud yet. So
Okay.
I hope this is exciting because I haven't told anybody about it, but only because I haven't known how to bring it up. But I feel like this is a good way to bring it up. Okay, anyway. In my closet, so like we have like a built-in like shelf
Uh-huh.
system kind of thing. Like in the middle, there's like a bunch of shelves, and then up top is like a big shelf,
Yeah.
right? Like above where you hang up your clothes.
Yeah.
So up there, that's where we keep like Christmas presents or like birthday presents. You're
Yeah.
hiding kids. Or like things that you just don't want to have it go missing, have it get broken, whatever. So like headphones go up there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a box up there that I've been just keeping like heirlooms in because you know she's been giving us like random things here and there just as
Uh-huh.
she goes. So I just have a box that I've been just like collecting things in. And in that box, I've had for years these old like crocheted magnets that Grandma Jacobson gave us
Uh-huh.
or that I got from Grandma Jacobson. And nothing about that. But ever since I started putting things in there that are Grandma Greats, that box will not stay up there. It keeps falling off. And I'm telling you, it's a deep shelf. Like, it's as deep as my closet. And I keep putting it up and like kind of hitting it back. Not so far back that I can't reach it, but it's
Yeah.
back it's not going to fall. But every time I notice it, it's on the floor. And nothing can break because it's just like crocheted things and like a doll I think is in there and like maybe a ring is in there like
You're saying
jewelry.
a doll is in there?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I have all my heirloom stuff in a hope chest, and if that thing started shifting around, I'd freaking lose it.
Could you imagine it just like rolling around the floor?
I'd be like, what the hell? It's like 80 to 120 pounds, I swear.
Yeah. But isn't that weird though?
Put it in something heavier.
For weighing it down. I
Yeah.
really should just like start like experimenting with it because I haven't like told anybody because I'm like, well, maybe because okay, my skeptic mind says maybe Mitch grabbed something from up there and like pulled because like we keep sometimes like our pillowcases up there, or like
But
sheets
do you
or
think he
something.
just like if it fell, if that he wouldn't put it back?
He probably would. Yeah, he probably would because I don't
Or
know.
if it kept falling down every time he got something out of there, don't you think he'd like just move it somewhere else?
Yeah,
That's why I think
probably.
it's something else.
Yeah.
You should put, is it consistent enough that if you put like a little camera somewhere that it would happen?
Maybe. I don't know how often it is. Like it's ever since grandma passed away, really, or ever since I started putting her stuff in it, it will not stay up there. And it's kind of driving me nuts because I'm like, "Ugh," like just stay up there. Like I've almost moved it, but I'm like, I don't know where to put it that's not going to get ruined. So I just
It would be
putting it.
interesting if you got like one of those cameras that are like motion detected. So it wouldn't be on all the time. It's only if
Yeah.
something moves. And then you could just put it like at the top of your closet and then see what happens.
Yeah. Like put the camera up there. That
Yeah.
way nothing would move unless it moved or if you were getting something.
Yeah. Like if you guys were actually like taking stuff out, then you
Yeah.
could see like what was causing it to drop. You should do it.
I'd have to get a camera like that first.
I feel
But
like I feel like you could find one for like 20 bucks on Amazon that's motion detected.
probably like a
If it's
nanny
just a
cam.
single one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'll have to. And I'll report back if I do. Because
Okay.
it's like one of those things where it's like, am I crazy? Or like, is this actually happening? You know? And
Yeah.
like, you just kind of like try to be like, no, like, there's no way that that's really happening. But then when you say it out loud, you're like, no, it's been happening for a while. you
Yeah,
know?
that's so crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you test it, you should like tell us
Okay.
what you find.
I will, and I'll even let you know what's in the box because like it's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of stuff.
Take a picture of what's in the box. And then next time you
Yeah.
see it on the floor, take a picture of it and put it on our Instagram.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll like put yeah. Okay. I'm gonna start recording like journaling
Yeah.
this.
How often it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Starting today.
Okay.
All right. So, uh, so
Lilacs.
yes. So they believe that there is a female spirit in the basement of the Alta Club because of the lilac perfume smell.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, like there was no record that I could find of any deaths happening there that were female. But then again, they don't have to really die there. Like maybe it was a
Well,
past.
was it this might be like assuming, but do you think maybe it was like a brothel of some kind?
Maybe. Yeah, because I didn't find anything really about that kind of stuff, but I was like, why would they need like a hotel room? Well, I mean, I guess I know why, because like if people from out of town are visiting and need somewhere to stay, it was a nice place for them to stay. It was a
Yeah.
very posh place. But it's also like, but if also females weren't allowed unless it was the widows or the wives and by invite only and through a separate door, it's like, what else was going on there that the men didn't want the women to know about?
That's what makes me think that it was like a brothel of some kind and like super top secret gentlemen's club or something like that.
Maybe, yeah. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either because men get into weird stuff.
But I'm like, why do men pay more when they think a girl looks good? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know how like guys tip more, like, oh, she's having to tip her more, but it's just like, but why though? Like, you don't owe her anything. Like, that's just where my brain goes. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, that doesn't make sense. Anyway,
I understand that. That's a
Yeah.
good question.
Right. Like
I don't
strippers.
think men understand it either.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know why I need to give you my money, but you deserve it.
You deserve it because you look nice.
Yeah, like
So
that whole
thank you.
concept I don't get. I don't get
I
it.
don't know. I just feel like it's like a, you know, tips are called gratuity, right? They're just
Yeah.
very grateful for your face. So
Yeah.
like,
Thanks for that.
thanks extra for being nice to look at.
Yeah. But it's like, you're welcome.
Right. It's like I can't help it.
Yeah, sorry. I just had to talk
Like
about
us
that.
ugly ducklings over here, like, what the fuck? Like I brought you extra water.
Right, yeah. Seriously, though, it's just like, okay, well, the poorer you are, the uglier you are, I guess.
The world is working against me right now.
Whatever, shut up. That's so not true. I would hate to date
Oh
all
my
over again.
gosh. I've been married for almost a decade and I can't even imagine what people go through to freaking find a man. I found Josh on Instant Messenger, which is like the very first like finding a man through like internet.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that's stupid. But like,
Well, I would hate to date now, especially because like of how far filters have come along.
right?
Like I look like a whole nother person sometimes, and I'm just like,
I can
damn.
look like a 10 with the right filter.
Yeah, exactly.
And like
That's why I'm scared. So I'm like, if I could look that good, like someone else could look really good. Oh no,
never trust anything. That's
never.
just how the world is now. You can't trust anything unless you see it with your eyeballs.
Yeah, but even then, like makeup has even come a long way.
Oh my gosh, some of those things where people take off their makeup and they're like a completely different person. It's like, what? I mean, I haven't learned it. I haven't learned how, but I'm just, I just am who I am.
As long as I can get rid of the the zits and like the redness in my face, then I'm good.
Oh, I haven't even figured that out. The redness in my face is forever there. Do you see it? I actually tried to put makeup on today. Well, I guess I have really bad lighting, but
Yeah, we
okay,
can't really
I'm
tell.
sorry. I'm a whole bottle down. You got to
You're
do
good.
your story.
Okay,
I'm making this last forever.
this it's we're fine. I'm at least in the paranormal section, and I felt like it was very history heavy, so at least we're past that hump. So we're
Okay,
good.
we're good.
Okay, so one thing to know about the female spirit in the basement is that she likes to make herself known, or at least it, because we don't really know if it's a female spirit, but they like to make themselves known by tapping you on the shoulder.
Oh,
And it's always a gentle tap, and it's always a cold touch.
hmm.
Makes it more eerie, I think.
I feel like if I was being burned on the shoulder, I would think, I would think that would be more scary than cold.
Really?
Yeah.
I just think like I mean, I guess both would be bad because like heat, you think fire and hell. Cold, I think dead bodies.
Well, yeah, but you assume if something that's not there is touching you, it's dead. So, like, if it's cold, it's okay.
I don't want anything dead touching me.
But remember when you had like a warm feeling on your hand when we were doing that investigation in Kimberly? I
Yes.
feel like warmness makes me more nervous than cold. But
Like
that's
it's
just,
wanting you to be comfortable and for what reason?
yeah, but it's also like but we don't know the logistics of what it is to be a ghost because like can they decide whether they are cold or warm?
Right. Yeah. And is it based off of their environment or our
Or
environment?
is it based off of who what their intentions are, what cold and warm mean?
Right. Like good and bad.
But who knows anything about anything until you die and then you can't tell anybody.
Yeah, we won't know. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Move on. I'm making this rough.
No, you're fine. So, a video was posted on YouTube in 2018 by an employee of the Alta Club.
Ooh.
And this was showing an entire dumpster can, like you know those big heavy ones that you go dumpster diving in.
Yes. I relate. Uh-huh.
Following.
Uh-huh.
So they have security footage of this giant ass dumpster can moving on its own in their back alleyway. Do you want to see this
Yeah.
craziness? Okay, I'm sending it to you. And I'm going to post this on Instagram. Faux show.
Moving the trash can is what it's called.
Yeah,
What?
pretty straightforward.
What? Those are heavy.
Yeah,
And it looks like it.
like
That
that's
doesn't
not
look like,
streets.
yeah, that doesn't look like wind or anything.
Right.
Wow. That is spooky.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So I found some comments in various places like Facebook groups and Reddit that a lot of former employees agree that this place is extremely haunted. One former employee said that they would often set up the meeting rooms late at night, um, and she hated it because that whenever she was in those meeting rooms, she always felt like she was being followed and watched the entire time.
Oh my gosh.
Another former employee said that they would work the graveyard shift, so from about 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. And they said that most nights between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., so along the witching hour, right?
Yeah.
You would hear a piano start playing on the second floor. They were on the first floor, and they could start hearing a piano playing on the second floor,
Oh my
as
gosh.
well as commotion, like people, like a large group of people are talking to each other, like there's conversations happening in a large room. So knowing that this isn't supposed to be happening because it's in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
rush up the stairs to go see what's going on, and as soon as they would hit the second floor, dead quiet and no one's there.
That sounds like residual
Right.
haunting,
Yeah.
which I feel like I would prefer that over like a what is it
Like an
called?
intelligent haunting.
Intelligent haunting where it's like focusing on you, communicating with you.
Wants to get a reaction out of you.
Yeah, like a
Person.
residual haunting is just like something that has been there, and so I feel like that would scare me less,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, they said that as soon as they would return back to the first floor, the noise would start up again.
Oh my
So
gosh.
playing with them. It's like they would go up, silent, come back down, and it'd start up again. So it's almost like they just weren't invited to the party. Like they weren't a member of the club, like literally. So every time they went up, the party would stop.
Yeah, they're like, shh, stop, they're coming, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's all that we know about the paranormal and the Alta Club Hotel. I hope that a paranormal team can get in there eventually and do some kind of investigation, but it sounds like their doors are pretty closed because it's a members only club.
But where they're so bougie too, they're probably not looking for the hype of, oh, we're haunted. Because, like, that's more of a, I don't want to say juvenile, but like more of us less sophisticated bunch that, like, you know,
I bet, I bet that the only way that they're going to get people in there investigating would be if it's like a member who knows the owner who's into paranormal stuff and it's like, oh, I heard this place is haunted and like, let's get this team in here. Like, I could see it happening that way, but I think you're right. It wouldn't be like Zach Bagans going there and being like, oh, an episode of the Alta
yeah.
Club. Like, I think that they wouldn't want their reputation to be that. But here we are talking about them and making this kind of reputation.
Right? Like, well, but none of us can afford it.
Yeah, right, honestly.
But it's like, I think it's interesting that they don't have more. I mean, I don't know. I think bougie places like that, they don't want the reputation of being haunted. You know, they're not about that. They're about being bougie and about being classy and about being whatever. That it's not about getting people there because they're haunted, you know.
Yeah. But also too, like if they are wanting money, because it sounds like from a few different articles that I was reading, is that they're really wanting members to join, like to keep it going, because they're seeing a decline in membership. So like they're wanting members to sign up, but it's like maybe just start opening it up as a haunted hotel, or like
Right?
or a hotel, and then like it's just not a club anymore. Like just let that be the history. And then I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but it must be
Kyle's in
one of those
charge.
things where they want to keep it like bougie, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we should go to them and say, "Listen, we are poor, but we will get people coming here."
Right. At least one person.
Right.
Okay, if anybody is listening and is a member of the Alta Club, let me and April be your plus ones.
But let's also realize that people who are rich enough to go to the Alta Club probably are not listeners of this podcast.
It could be. Listen, April, you don't know. You don't know.
Listen, the
I
honest
bet
truth
people
that's
listening to
coming
this
from
have
this
more
wine
money
right
than I
now is telling
do.
me that people that are rich probably don't find interest in what we are saying.
Well,
We have nothing to offer them but sheer
yeah.
entertainment.
Right.
And
And then
um
thinking like, wow, I'm glad I didn't end up like them. Like, see,
yeah,
honey, this is what I could have been if I went down the wrong path. This is
exactly.
why you stay in school, okay?
Listen, this is why I went to college, is because I didn't end up like these two fools.
Right.
Okay,
That's why.
I'm gonna need another glass of wine though, because this has been very fun to
Good.
listen to. Here, get a bottle of wine.
Okay.
I'll get a bottle of wine,
Okay.
and we'll drink them separately as we talk to each other.
Well, everybody, thank you for listening to episode 24. April is a whole bottle of wine gone.
There's less than a glass left.
Might as well just drink it right now. Chug, chug, chug,
Okay.
chug. Everybody say it with me. Chug, 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 chug.
I've always wanted to flick it off the top. Okay.
Chug, 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 chug.
Hold on.
She's coming up for air. Coming up for air.
Okay.
Chug, 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 chug.
A
Nice.
glass of wine down.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We will
Yeah.
be back in a couple weeks for episode 25. I feel like we
Whoa.
should do something for that milestone, don't you think?
Like what though?
I don't know. It's a quarter of the way to 100. Um, I don't know what we would do.
What's a 25-year anniversary? Like what's the tradition?
I don't know. Let me look it up real fast. Sorry.
25-year anniversary.
Silver.
Silver. Oh, I was close.
Coveted for its radiance and brilliance, silver is the perfect precious material to commemorate a quarter century of shining love and commitment to each other.
Yuck.
That's so sweet.
Um,
Okay, well, we'll do something about silver. Maybe
I
my
know.
maybe my story will have something about silver in it.
Maybe we'll wear silver teeth. Like we'll do the gum wrapper grills.
Yeah.
Try to do a whole story with gum wrapper grills.
Okay, here's what we'll do for the next episode. We're gonna make it a silver episode, and both of us have to come silver something, and we're just gonna. But the thing is that you have to try and sit with it for the entire recording.
Okay, and then we have to drink an entire bottle of wine every episode now.
Yes.
Because I feel like it's way more fun.
Well, yeah, especially if we're not driving.
We're not driving, so we can drink as much as we want.
What am I doing with this over here?
Yeah, you idiot.
The hell?
You could have put Jack Daniels in that Coke.
I don't have any whiskey.
Is Jack Daniels whiskey?
Yeah, man. It's whiskey. You know what my favorite whiskey is Porterfire, though.
I don't know what that is. I don't drink whiskey. I have either bitch beer or wine.
I like whiskey and gin.
I'm a basic bitch.
I'm just an old man.
You
drinking.
are. You drink like an old man.
I do. Okay, well, thanks everybody for listening to episode 24. Where you have some fun things coming to you for next episode that we just came up with, apparently. So definitely tune in for next week or next episode. If you have any personal stories, definitely write into us on our website at hauntandcold.com. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us at Haunt and Cold Podcast. And you can find us on Patreon, and you can get some free merch that way. So if you're like, man, these guys are dope, I really wish that I had a keychain, well, you can go on to our Patreon and become a member and get one that way. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Oh, and on Patreon, we offer you never seen before video recording of an episode of stories, international or otherwise not known in the US.
I love watching you take the reins on this when I know that you know that later you're going to listen back on this and be like,
oh no.
I was drunk.
But you know what?
What?
Those stories on Deck at Dusk are going to be some of the wildest, some of the craziest.
Oh my gosh.
Enjoy. Yeah. For those Patreon members, Bree and her dad.
Yeah, 2 people. And I bet it'll go down to 1 very soon. No. Who do you think is going to quit first, Bree or our dad?
I think our dad forgot that he's a Patreon member.
Yeah.
So I'd say Bree.
Yeah, I know. Bree's going to be like, shit. Like, she remembers each month that gets pulled out of her account. She's like, oh, I'm still paying for this.
I'm paying for these idiots to, like, do nothing but freaking
be idiots. Then our dad's just like, I don't know what I'm paying for. I forgot my password to even log in.
He definitely forgot his password. Okay, well, I've got to pee, so this episode has got to end.
Okay.
Okay, bye.